should talk about some knitting. Hello and welcome to Karma's a Stitch. I'm Tanya. Normally I'm here with my son, and again, the boy is busy and he can't make it. But we typically are here talking about knitting and crochet. I actually pulled one of my old crafts out recently and have started a little bit of some other things which we'll talk about. This is episode 55. And if you are looking to get in touch with us, all those details can be found in the description box below. Welcome. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining us. And if you're returning, welcome back. You guys, when I post this, it will be posted on Friday, September 15th, which means tomorrow is our cast on party. So one more day. So we will talk about a couple of cast ons I have planned, things maybe you'll want to do before the cast on party. Yes, I'm excited. I have been incredibly busy, and maybe we'll talk about some of that at the end. Maybe we won't. We'll see. So welcome. And I'm just going to jump in, and we do ours a little bit different. I talk about my FOs at the end of the episode. I'll talk about some new things I have first, and we'll talk about whips in between. And if we have time, maybe a little life stuff at the end. So since my last episode, you guys, I have made a road trip with Anthony. I made a road trip with some girlfriends because we had a grand opening for a yarn shop opening about 2 hours away from us. So a big group of us went to support that grand opening of that new yarn shop. So, and then there was a retreat here, and I had gifts brought back from that retreat. So I have a few acquisitions, and I went to another event, and I want to say, and I'm going to get it wrong, so I do apologize, but the woman putting on this event, I had never met her before, and she also has a YouTube channel, and I believe her channel is Dana's Wanderlust Crochet, and talk about a neat lady. So yes, she crochets. She is also a truck driver, which I had to share with her. That has always been a dream job. I've always wanted to be like a cross-country, long-haul truck driver. I think that would want to be one of the most amazing careers ever. I am so envious of that lifestyle. So yes, she had put on this crochet social event, and I got to meet a lot of new people. I got to reconnect with some people that I hadn't seen in a really long time, and it was just a really great experience. So I have stuff from acquisition stuff. Some of it was swag bag stuff, some of it was gift stuff, some of it was new acquisition stuff. So I'm not going to differentiate all of it because it doesn't really matter. You just want to see the colors of the stuff. So here I'm going to start with this. And in this bag, I have, you guys, two full skeins. This was a swag bag from the crochet event. And I don't know if you're going to get to see the shine. It's looking dull, but it is not a dull color. It is quite vibrant. It is got a little fuzz on it from the bag, but this is 100% acrylic, and it does not feel acrylic. It is so squishy, and I got 2 skeins of that. So I can do something pretty good size. Like, I'm pretty excited about this. I'm not sure what I'm gonna make yet. And you know, tomorrow's cast on party, I may be asking for input. and I may get a really amazing suggestion for this yarn tomorrow. So this may go into a project tomorrow. I'm not for sure. Also in this bag, I got this super cute fuzzy sheep measuring tape. I got a gauge ruler. How great is that? This one is a little different because it's got let's see here. I've never seen one with this. I knew it was on here. I had to find it. It's right here. And it's to cut your yarn. I'm forever just pulling it apart and breaking it. I've never seen one with one of those on it. I got some fix-it tools. Ooh, you can't see it. Some fix-it tools. Super cute. Stitch markers or progress keepers, depending on if we're knitting or crocheting, right? Oops. Leave that alone, Miracle. Thank you, baby dog. Let's see what else is in here. Look at these scissors. Look at these little snippets. Oh, I can't get the rubber off. They are so smooth. So I got some little snippets. And oops, to weave in my ends. These might be regifted. Just kidding. Just kidding. So yes, I got some great stuff there. I said I wasn't going to differentiate where I got stuff, but here I was. What a great swag bag. I mean, it was a lot of good stuff. I've never felt acrylic yarn that felt this fantastic. And if I could find this acrylic yarn, I mean, you guys, I can't, it almost feels like a cotton linen, but it's more, it's just more. So I got that. I also got, and it looks, I mean, this ball band clearly is too big, but that's because I've used that much of it. Because during this crochet social, they had a class on certain stitches, and it was like a little workshop, and we all participated, and it was a lot of fun because there were lots of different skill levels. And so I made this cute little, I'll use it because I do a lot with minis, and the top of it curves in, so I can put mini balls in here, and they can roll around in there, and they won't fall out. They won't pop out. The opening narrows down, so to keep it from popping out. So this was my final project. This was my FO from that crochet social. So it felt kind of cool to leave there with a finished object, I have to say. That was pretty fantastic. I also, she gave out these little things, these little notebooks. Isn't that great? Never forget the difference you make. You are loved. You are strong. I mean, it was just wonderful. I mean, it was just a really positive, encouraging event. So this woman who put this event on also has designed a few patterns. And one of the patterns, this was not one that she had designed, but she had a table at this event that had different patterns, free patterns. And I was like, how cool is this? So this was one of the patterns I picked up. Isn't that fun? It's Queensland Collection Dungarees Rainbow Tweed, and it's called Rosie. It's got the pattern on the back with the color thing, the color chart. And then this is one that Dana herself has written, and I think she said it was inspired by something that was given to her that was super old. It was a finished FO, and she kind of deconstructed it and then wrote a pattern to reconstruct it, if I'm understanding and remembering correctly what she said. And this is It was so squishy. It's a dishcloth. It says up here, it's a dishcloth, hot pad, or pot holder. And this is her name. I don't know if that's her name on Ravelry, but that would be a good place to start looking for her. So yes, I got some really fun stuff at that crochet social. The road trip that I went on with Anthony, I have, I don't know what the right word, anxiety. I'm super conscientious of where I position myself in rooms. And so it's a safety thing. I don't know if it solely comes from my childhood, growing up with a state trooper as a stepfather, or if it different scenarios where it's just certain things make me very uncomfortable. And being where we were, I did not feel super comfortable. So we only stopped at 2 yarn shops that day, and which was plenty. And I ended up getting this bag. This was such a fun shop. She had, it was a bookstore and a yarn shop all in one. And it was so well laid out, and it had such a great selection. The yarn I got from her shop, I'll show you because I already have it designated to a project that I've cast on. So the yarn I got from that yarn shop, I will share with you. But the yarn that I got from, oh, where did it go? It's already in that other one. This is one of them I got that didn't go in the project. And when I travel, I find that I typically like to get yarn that is locally or local to that area. So this is Teal Torch Knits, and it is a Portland, Oregon based company. And this colorway is Infatuation. It's a pretty dark purple. It didn't go so well with the other colors that I got. So I got 4 skeins of yarn at this particular yarn shop, and I got them with the intention of doing them all together. This one was definitely the oddball out. I was I'll show, you will see it and I'll point it out. Like, these are the 3 skeins I was talking about. And it's like a blue fade, and this was gonna be at the end because it is a pattern that has a fade going on. And I was like, oh, I'll just have a really loud outside color, which I was okay with. However, when I went to the second yarn shop, I found a color that, one second, I'll grab it. And I'm gonna cover the name of this skein of yarn, because when I saw this, it was so beautiful. And the name of it just told me who I was going to be gifting this to. I knew immediately, and it was so stunning that there was just no question. So the company is Boss Kitty. Yarn so boss, you'll knit your pants off. In your paws rests an honest-to-goodness bundle of lovingly hand-dyed Boss Kitty yarn. Is it a skein, a ball, a cake? I don't know. I'm only a label, and I can't turn around to see behind me. I'll have to trust you. I mean, it was just a super... Anyway, the base of it is called Cat's Cradle. It's a fingering weight sock yarn, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 263% fiber nerd fun. So look at that. Look at how you can see the sun coming in from my window. I'm so sorry. Look at that. Look at the paw print in the label that shows the color. I was just so excited, and I'm not going to show you the colorway name because I was just like, holy cow, this is going to be gifted to someone specific. But this color totally fit with that 3-color fade. And so when I got back in town, I tried to match this with something at my local shop to complete that project. So I'm going to put this one back. The next item, sorry for the crinkle. I'm not gonna talk so that I can mute this part. Okay, so the next yarn I'm gonna talk about is called Black and White Floral Knit Shawl. And this is a like intentional pooling pattern. So let's see if I can show you this without showing the pattern. There's two small little pictures. There we go. So it's got black and white and then color, very intentionally placed. Okay, and it is a shawl. I don't wear shawls, but I would really love to utilize this yarn in something that I will wear. So I think what I've decided to do is I'm going to use this technique and these stitches in this pattern, but I'm gonna make a long rectangular scarf. I'm not interested in another shawl. I really do wanna wear this. So I have the black. Okay. And then the white with this green and purple. So these will be striped, and every time I get to the green or purple, I'll be doing a different stitch so that that color really pops out in the pattern. I'm really excited. This is going to be one of my cast-ons tomorrow, and I am so excited to try this technique. I've seen it, I've looked for patterns. The yarn isn't always super accessible, so this was a pretty great project. I'm pretty excited to have this one. Little cellophane, so sorry. There is a friend of mine here locally who just started a group because this apparently is something that loads of people got. And so I think they're gonna do like a knit along with this project. So I am right now a part of that group where I don't believe we're all doing the same pattern, and we'll see what other people come up with. So this right here is, you guys have seen me talk about this yarn before. It's by Blue Savannah, and it's called A Cup of Ambition. And this was a designated colorway to the grand opening of the yarn shop. So I absolutely had to have one. It is a fingering weight. It says exclusive colorway for the yarn shop, because that's the name of the shop that opened up. And it is her Meadowlark Bespoke Fingering Weight. It's 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. So absolutely, I mean, these colors right here and right here, so rich, so rich. I absolutely love this. No idea what this is going to go into yet. But I had to have that. It was an exclusive colorway for the grand opening. I absolutely wanted to be able to support that and have one of those. Also, you guys, oh my goodness. So this is a local, where are they located? It just says Kimberly, Idaho. So this is a local to, I say local to me because it's in the same state, but look at that color. Are you kidding me? I mean, it almost looks iridescent. I don't know if you can see that in the screen, but it's almost got like it looks purple, but you turn it and then it looks blue, or then you put it in the light and it almost looks like it has a little bit of pink. So the colorway is called Blurple. It's a sock base, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. I fell in love with this color. Absolutely beautiful. And I got enough of that. I got enough of it. There were 3 skeins of it. I want to make a sweater. And I was like, that's not enough for me to make a sweater in fingering weight yarn. So I figured what I would do is I would pair it with some solid black, and I'm going to do some really long, like right about here, I'll start the black, and I think that that color change is going to be so dynamic. And from here down, I'll just have a really thick cuff, right? And then from here up, I'll probably end up combining a couple of different patterns to get the top the way I want it, but I will be using black on the neckline, the cuffs, and the waistband. And I will be using this purple. Oh, you guys, I'm so excited about that. So yes, absolutely, we'll be doing that. And then another cast on that I will be doing tomorrow for sure. And I'll put a picture of the shawl, but it's these two colorways together. And I'll put a picture of the shawl. It's blue Savannah. It's her fingering weight cashmere. It's her Cameron Rose is this colorway. Let's see. Manuka is this colorway. And it is 50% superwash merino and 50% silk. Can you see the shimmer in that from the silk? Absolutely beautiful. Oh, you can really see it there. Isn't that beautiful? I love that shimmer. So the shawl I'm gonna do, this will be my main color, the Manuka, and then the Cameron Rose will be the contrast color. The pattern, and I can't remember the name of it, so I'm just gonna have to put a picture of it up, and I'll put the name of the pattern on here. It requires 2 skeins of the main color and 1 of the contrasting color. So that is what I will be doing. So that is what I've got for new stuff. Now, a couple of whips that I am working on right now. And I will have you guys know, if you've been here before, you know that I have talked about the whip wall at my local yarn shop. And it has a list of my current whips. And each time I get something done, I get a little star. And there's a couple things that I have frogged, but putting that list on there has been so motivating because I can see the progress. And okay, I'm not gonna cast on until I have a couple more stars on there. And it has really held me accountable. Not completely, but much better than I used to be. So right now, other than blankets, I only have 6 whips, minus the blankets. I have 6 whips. One of them is a sock. I have one of the socks done. I just have to do the other sock. One of the whips is a Musselburgh hat, which I am working on. It will be a 2-toned hat. This is yarn that I used to make some mitts. They had the lace. Oh, and I think they're right here. Because can you see that tote right there? Right there? That tote is one of the totes that's just full of all of my whips that I don't ever do anything with. I just had fun making them, and then they go into a tote. Let me find those mitts. 1 second. Got the dog right there in the way. Let's see here. You guys, some of the stuff in here is just... So I just remember making them, and they were so beautiful, and I had so much fun at making them, but I just don't wear shawls. I just don't wear them. Some of the things that I've made, like the sweater that I made for Alex. She never wore it, but I made it. It was fun. That too sits in this tote. Okay, so here are the KI mitts that I made. Get my ends tucked in. Don't need any comments about my ends. I know. They'll get woven before I wear them mostly. Okay. So here are the KI mitts. There's a little end peeking out right there. Look at that lace. They were so fun. It was short rows. So we started here and worked up, and we did short rows, and then we did the lace. Those were so fun. And I decided, I mean, they're just, the colorways are just beautiful. So I did do 2 of them, but I decided that I wanted a matching beanie. So I'm doing a Musselburgh hat, and it will be half the dark color, and then the other half will be the lighter color. And that way, when I put it inside out and I flip it, the brim and the hat, I'll have both colors to match my mitts. So the colors that I have, these are Trilogy Yarn, who I believe she's in Washington, and this is her yak sock base. The lighter one is the mauve. The darker one is Cabernet. 70% superwash merino, 20% yak, and 10% nylon. So if you look at how much of this hat, so right here, at this B stitch marker, that's where I was the last time you guys saw this. So if you look, I only have about 3 more inches in this dark color before I start the mauve, and I have quite a bit left. And that's after the mitts, and it'll be after the hat. So I will probably end up making Alex a matching Musselburgh in her size. I'd love to think she'd wear it. We'll see. So that is the progress I've made on my Musselburgh. Now, another whip on my list at the yarn shop is the Like a Cloud cardigan that I was making as a gift for a young lady. And this is kind of an issue right now because it is a whip, but I already finished it once. I had bound it off, but before I wove in the ends, because it was a gift, I will do the ends before I actually give it to her. But I wanted her to try it on because this young lady, I wanted her to love it. And I'll put pictures of her trying it on at her birthday dinner. And the length of it fit her this way. And the sleeves were nice and long. But the length of the cardigan only came down to about halfway down her pocket, her rear end pocket. And she really prefers it to be a bit longer, like to cover her whole back end pocket. So I asked her, does it fit? Do you like the length of the sleeves? Do you like this? And she's like, well, and it was really uncomfortable for her to say, I'd really actually think I'd like it to be longer. But let me just tell you that the fact that she told me that that would be her preference, number 1, tells me that if I do it, she'll wear it. And number 2, it makes me want to make things for her more often because I know she'll love it. And I want to make things for her because I know she's going to appreciate them and love them. And she was so grateful. So this is Like a Cloud cardigan by Joji Locatelli. And, oh, you guys, it just turned out so good. So here's the cardigan. I hope you can see it. I wasn't too sure. There is no button band. There is no edging. I had suggestions about the I-cord, and I really wanted to see how it fit her before I did that. Can you see those stitches? I mean, it was just such a great pattern. I really did enjoy making this. Now, if you look down here, where this stitch marker is where I had bound off. And I need to add about 3 more inches. So I unpicked the bind off with this lace. Ooh, let's see if I can even separate them right now. Oh, there you go. Lace and mohair. And I unpicked it and I have restarted the ribbing pattern. And I did ask her, do you just want extra long ribbing? Or would you like me to go back and add more length to the pattern? And she said the ribbing would be great. She really was excited about the ribbing. And if you looked at the sleeves, the sleeve also has an extra long ribbing cuff. So this is another whip that is so close on my whip list at the yarn shop. Can you see this fly flying around? Whew. All right, so there's that. The next whip that I am actively working on is a new cast on. You guys haven't seen this yet, but there's a few of my friends that I get to be in an Instagram group with and get to visit with occasionally. And there's several of us making this Eyelet Burst by Stephen West. And so this is where those 3 colors ended up from that first yarn shop I visited. So here is the first color. Let's see if I can pull it out. Here's the first color. I don't know if you can see the speckles in here. Let's see. Can you see the speckles in that yarn? The darker spots right here. And if you look at this, this ball is a 20-gram ball. And I will explain to you why I've done that. But this is the first colorway. Get it back because this is the current color I'm working on. The second color, oops, is this here. Okay. The third one, I just dropped my 20-gram ball. Come back, baby, come back. Wind that back on. It's pretty flimsy in my ball cozy right now. Okay, so there's the first 2 colors. The third color is this one. And these 3 are all by that Teal Torch Knits Portland, Oregon based yarn dyeing company. These 3 were the 3 that I purchased with that first purple that I showed you. And the second blue that I showed you, which was going to be a gift, I needed to find something locally that matched that. So this will be my fade for my Eyelet Burst. And the Eyelet Burst is by Stephen West. I'm so excited about this. Now, I had a few people as we started this project. Let's see if I can find this ball band. Oh, of course I can't. Why would I put the ball band in the project bag? It just makes too much sense. Miracle needs to go out. Give me 1 second. Okay, so here is my progress on this Eyelet Burst. And I wish I wasn't in the middle of a row, but I am. So that's how we'll show it. Okay, so this pattern tells you to go with your first color. It says to repeat this pattern for, I think it says 100 rows. However far I'm supposed to go, I'm there. I'm there right now. Okay. However, with some of these more experienced knitters who have done this pattern, ran into the same thing I run into when I do Stephen West. I end up with a lot of extra yarn, and I'm not particularly excited about having a bunch of extra yarn. So what I have decided to do is I got the weight of how much extra my friends had, and the one friend said she had 20 grams left of color A. And so I wound off 20 grams, and when I use up this, that's when I'll start my fade. I'll start my fade when I get to that 20 grams, so I know I'm using it up. So I'm following the pattern basically, but it's gonna be bigger because I'm gonna use all of them. So that's what I'll be doing. Now, the other thing about this is when we were chatting about this project, and I heard a couple people, like you see, we have these eyelets, right? And you want your eyelets to be lined up. So with this particular one, they say place a marker and knit so far to the marker and then do a yarn over, and that's what creates your eyelet. And I kept hearing people say, oh, my eyelets are getting off. They're out of alignment. And I'm like, how in the heck? Me not having the experience that a lot of these ladies do. I'm like, how in the world are you losing the alignment of your yarn? You're yarning over. How difficult is that? I found out how difficult that was. And I need things simple. I always am trying to find things to simplify. So you will notice, like for this particular eyelet rows right here, okay, I have the placeholders, the stitch markers that in the pattern they tell you to do, okay? But then I placed these extra, and these are traveling. They just keep moving up. When I have a certain number of rows, I just move them up a little bit. But when I get to this and I'm knitting across and I see this, I know that on this side of this stitch marker, I need to do a yarn over. And then here's the next stitch marker, but I also have one down here. That means on this side of this stitch marker, I need to do a yarn over, because not all of them are that clear. Like here's my stitch marker, but this right here is telling me which side of that stitch marker I need that eyelet to go on. And it's just a reminder for me, because sometimes it doesn't look as clear, especially when you're just starting. So I definitely needed to have, these have helped me tremendously. Like when I was down here, I got off of track, but I had heard everybody talking about how they had gotten off, and I kept looking and kept looking. And I was like, oh my gosh, I did it. I got off track. They're not in alignment. But I was checking so often that I was able to easily fix it, easily correct it. And I was like, I can't do this. This is something that should be mindless for me. It's just knitting and a couple yarn overs here and there. I needed the reminders as to which side of my stitch markers I was supposed to put the eyelet. It has helped me tremendously. So that is one current whip that I am trying to work on. This one is sitting at in my car. This is one I'm working on in my car. And the Musselburgh is one that is typically been at the yarn shop. And it sits in my locker at the yarn shop. And when I'm there, I've got something I can just go round and round and round with. It's been wonderful. So those 3 whips, like a cloud cardigan, I just need to finish the ribbing, is on my couch when I'm home watching Netflix. I haven't got a lot of time for that this week. I've been super busy. The Musselburgh, I've been keeping it in my locker at the yarn shop. That's gonna take me a little while. Hopefully I'll have a hat before I need a hat. And then the eyelet burst is in my car, and I'm working on that one. Now let's talk about FOs. I have 2 FOs to share this week, if we don't talk about the one I'm wearing. So this was the ranunculus. So many people have made them, and loads of people made them. And I was like, how in the world do you make a 1 skein top? A full top with just 1 skein of yarn. Well, I made one. So here is my ranunculus. I made this probably at least a year ago, and I do enjoy it. I love it. I was at an appointment this morning, and I realized I had it inside out. The people that were sitting near me didn't recognize, but I noticed I had the purl sides out and the knit sides in. So I fixed it at my first available opportunity. So the first FO that I have finished, I don't know if you guys have seen it. I may have posted on Instagram. I'm really bad with social media, but it is another Stephen West shawl. I absolutely Love these colorways. These colors I had going into another pattern that I was not thrilled about. So I pulled out that other project and I cast this project on. It's the Earth and Sky shawl. It was his very first cowl. So the very first cowl that Stephen West did was this pattern. And you guys, this was another one I was not gonna have any leftovers. Let's see the leftovers I ended up with. Are they in it? They are. Okay, so there's 3 colors in this project. One of them I literally used every bit. There is no leftovers. The second color, I have this much left. Isn't that beautiful? I love that color so much. And then the third color, this is what I have left. Isn't that great? That's all the leftovers I have, and I have a massively huge shawl, which I love. These colors, you guys, it is insane how gorgeous this turned out. Are you ready? And you're not gonna be able to see all of it, sorry. Here you go. Oh, look at it. So you're gonna see a progress keeper. Look at how fantastically huge and beautiful this is. Okay, so you see this progress keeper here. Hopefully you can see it in this light color. That's where I was the last time that you guys saw this project. And I kind of put it away for a while because I was like, man, I mean, I'm right at the end. This dark color is where the pattern was supposed to end. And I was not excited about how much yarn I had left. And so I decided I was just gonna continue the pattern. So when you see this stitch marker, I'll hold it up again, but when you see the stitch marker, know that the pattern was supposed to end here. And by deciding to use all of the yarn, look at the size adjustment that I got. I mean, look at how much length I got to this pattern by using all of it. Isn't that great? It turned out so gorgeous. Now, across, when we blocked it, okay, so across, you can see the folds. Sorry, I blocked it and then put it back on my project bag. But I blocked it, and it's 9 feet across. Isn't that great? It's so beautiful. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. I am so pleased with how this turned out. Absolutely love how this turned out. So, Earth and Sky by Stephen West. Oh, can you see that? I'm sorry if you're tired of looking at it. Oh, it's so beautiful. Okay, so Earth and Sky is done. I can take that progress keeper off. And the sad part is I don't wear shawls. What am I gonna do with this shawl? Okay, so there's that. Let's see if there's, and you know, I'm doing these pages each time I finish a project. So it's got all the information. I cast this on May 21st and I bound it off on August 27th. And keep in mind, I had several weeks in there that I didn't do anything with it. The sad part is right now it'll probably end up over in that tote because I don't wear shawls. But notes that I had on here is that I ended up making it larger because I used all of the yarn and I loved, oh yeah, the needles. Oh, you guys, these driftwood needles. The combination between the yarn that I used, which was Blue Savannah for 2 of the skeins, and Hedgehog Fiber for the 3rd skein. The Blue Savannah, One of them was, the colorway was Lavana. The other colorway was You Heartbreaker. And the lightest color that you saw, the one that I had a tiny, tiny bit left of, that was Hedgehog Fibers colorway Ghost. I used a US 5 and I used these fixed driftwood, and I'm gonna mispronounce it, likey, needles. I loved them so much. They were such a joy to knit with. But yes, those are the notes that I have for that project. Loved it. Now, the final FO that I'm going to share with you has been housed in this bag. I need a drink, I'm so sorry. And this colorway, or this FO, is one that I was making for somebody else. And I am so excited to be able to give this gift away. And it was the funniest thing because I haven't touched it in a long time. Like I put it away for several months. And I opened it up and I'm like, golly, what is this? What is this? I don't recognize this. And then I remembered months ago, because I was doing a super tight circumference that was too large for 9-inch circulars. I really prefer DPNs. But Erica, the shop owner, allowed me to borrow one of her needle sets, and I forgot that I had borrowed them. So Erica, you'll be getting these back if you watch this. These are yours. But it is this FO I made. So my daughter, my 7-year-old daughter, Alex, goes to occupational therapy twice a week to help her work through and find good, healthy tools to deal with her sensory issues, to different textures and things. And so while I wait in the waiting room, what do? We knit. And I was knitting, and there was another little girl that was the same age as Alex, within a couple of months of Alex. And she also sat in the waiting room with her mom, waiting for her younger sister, who was also back there doing therapy. And this little girl would come over and sit with me, and she was so pleasant and so cheerful and so patient always. And she would come over and watch me knit and ask questions about the knitting. And I was making a Morrison scarf for Alex. And this young lady was like, she's so lucky. That is so beautiful. And I asked, would you like one of these scarves? And she said, oh my goodness. And so I asked her what her favorite colors were: pink, blue, and purple. And the Morrison scarf that I did was made with an advent calendar, and I had allowed Alex to go through and choose the colors that she wanted. And pink, blue, and, oh, can you hear my dog barking? I'm so sorry. So I ended up making a Morrison scarf. Can you see that? I have a neighbor who puts her dog out and just lets the dog sit there and bark and bark and bark, which drives me bonkers. But Cinder, my dog, hears that inside the house, and she'll start barking back, because it really does sound like it's right outside our home, and this woman just lets her dog do it. So then Cinder says, would you just be quiet? So here is the Morrison scarf that I have made for that little girl, and it's done. And you know the beauty? There's just one end that I gotta do. And I'm so excited to give this to her, and it turned out so beautiful. Absolute, I'm so pleased with it. Pink, blue, and purple, exactly what she asked for. This is the second one I've made. I do have a third one cast on, which is for me, which is on my WIP list. It's one I want to get done. So, yarn that I used for this, it was the first time I have used one of these balls here. And I only used one of them. I don't know how to pronounce it. Chappelle Edition 3. I only had to use one. And then I used this cotton. Where's the ball band? Here we go. The purple is Cascade Yarns Cherub DK. And I used one full skein and probably not even half of this one. I just kept going until I used up that first ball of the Chapelle. I think that's what it is. Chapelle, maybe. I'm not sure. So this is the purple, color number 31. That's the purple that I used. It's acrylic. 45% acrylic, 55% nylon. I'm not sure what the other one is. Let's take a look. Because I wanted it to be washable for her. If she, you know, if her mom wants to wash something. It's for a little kid. She should be able to do what she wants with it and not be worried about, yeah, so this is 100% super, 100, blah, 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 100% merino fine superwash wool. So this is wool made with this. She'll be able to wash it. Mom won't have to worry about anything. So I am excited about that. My goal right now is to have all of my current whips bound off by January 1, minus the blankets. The blankets are the exception to that. I want January 1, I want to be able to take off my whip list from that wall and start fresh. So I don't have a whole lot. I have a sock, I have a musselburgh, I have the other hedgehog fiber. I think I have a rocket tee that I think I'm probably gonna frog. So yeah, I have a few things that shouldn't take me much time if I would quit casting more things on, says the lady having the cast on party tomorrow. When you guys see this, it'll be tomorrow. And tomorrow I plan on casting on, knowing that we have the Stephen West MCAL coming, that I'm casting on that intentional pooling project. I will be casting on that shawl, and I would look it up, but my phone's here, with the pink, the light pink yarn that I shared. I will have put pictures of the pattern in there. Maybe it was a wrap. I don't remember. I would have put pictures in. I'm going to stop talking about it. So those two things for sure I will be casting on tomorrow. And I will be asking for suggestions on some acrylic patterns for that acrylic yarn, those two skeins of acrylic. I might make something for Alex. So there you have that. Now, I mentioned that I had pulled out an old hobby that I had been doing. I did this a long time, long before I knew how to knit. And I'm looking at a project that I started well over 10 years ago that was going to be a quilt for my oldest daughter. And my oldest daughter is 27. And it's not finished. But I pulled it out and I was like, I really want to do that. And it is English paper piecing. Now, I started a smaller English paper piecing project. I'll show you, kind of give you an idea of how far I've gone on it. So far, whoop. So I will make a video of my progress on this particular project, but I've been working on this as well. So I've been working on lots of different things. It really has been a matter of my mindset, my mood, what's going on here, keeping the kids busy, doing all the stuff. Where's my mind at? How much time do I have? So I'm pretty excited about this English paper piecing. It's been a lot of fun. I'm remembering how much I loved it. But I'm not going to get into it because this is a knitting channel. And so I will make something separate for that project. If you're interested, you can keep an eye open for that. And other than that, you guys, tomorrow's cast on party. Things you might want to think about if you're attending is have your yarn wound before the party. That's if I were going to give you one tip, I would say have your yarn wound before the cast on party starts. Have your yarn ready. Now, if I were going to only give you 2 tips, I would say have your yarn wound. And the second tip would be look to see how many stitches you have to cast on and have that cast on. Just that first number, just that first cast on row. Because if you have to cast on for a project 380 stitches and there's a party going on, you're gonna lose count, okay? I learned this the hard way. So if I were to give you 2 tips, have your yarn wound and cast on anything that has a significant number of stitches. If I were going to give you a 3rd tip, it would be have snacks, have food, have some nutrition available. Because I will be opening the room at 10 a.m. my time, which is Boise, Idaho. Feel free to look up what that is for you, but I am in Boise, Idaho, and I will be opening the Zoom room at 10 a.m. and I will be on all day long. I don't know that any of the parties have ended before midnight my time. So keep that in mind. Some people come and they leave and they do family stuff, they eat dinner, they run errands, and then they come back. You're welcome to do that. But yeah, if I were gonna give you tips, those would be the 3 biggest ones I can imagine giving. If I had to just give 3, those would be the 3 key ones. I am so excited to see everybody tomorrow. If you haven't signed up yet, I do have a couple of spots left if you're interested. You do not have to be a super social person. You can come on and leave your camera off and just hear other crafters talking. You can cast on, you don't have to cast on. It's more of a social thing. So I am super excited for everybody to come and have a good time and maybe make some new friends. There will be a few other YouTube channel hostesses. And I typically ask all of them to introduce themselves. And if you're watching this, that means you're a subscriber of mine, hopefully. But you might meet some other folks in there that you might be like, wow, I might really enjoy watching them if you don't already. Which is always so fun to just do that. It's just a great thing for our community. And I'm so excited to be able to see everybody tomorrow. And yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all. I will be putting a scripture in at the end of this episode. I would tell you what that is, but I didn't look it up for today. So I don't know what it is, but I will put it up right after this. And I think that's all I've got for you guys. Some of you I'll see tomorrow and others maybe I'll see next time. I hope you're all doing great. I'll see you later. Bye.